Google Voice is a really powerful tool, and I recommend that you keep your personal number and your work number separate. And a word of warning, this is something that I actually didn't do for my first several years in business. And what ended up happening was I got a lot of spam calls and texts on my personal phone. And it made it really frustrating and annoying to get a text from somebody for some irrelevant thing I'd done for a client 3 months ago at midnight. And these things do happen. People will call and message you at all times of the night. So if you don't want to get pinged constantly on your personal phone and you do want to keep those separate, coming up with a Google Voice number is a really handy thing for you to do. It's free, and we will get into the specifics for how to set it up and how to do things like make international calls, how to connect it with your phone. Anyway, it's a really powerful tool, and I definitely recommend that if you download anything, it is Google Voice. Now, Google Voice is a free application, and I will put this out there. It is only for US customers. So if you are not physically located in the United States, you either need to use a VPN to hide your location, or you need to be a US citizen living in the US itself. Sorry about that, guys. I know it's a bummer. And if you are an American, then let's forge ahead, and I'll show you just how amazing Google Voice can be. So to get your own Google Voice number, you're going to go to just Google Voice, and you'll get to the website, and you'll want to click Get Google Voice. Very simple. Now from here, if you're setting this up on an Android or an iOS, then you want to select those options. But I am setting this up on the web, and if you are too, you want to simply click on Web. Next, you're going to sign up with your email address. So you do have to have a Gmail address. If you don't already have a Gmail address, it's very simple for you to create one here using this create account. And just know that you won't be sharing this email address with anyone. You just have to have it activated so that your Google Voice can connect to it. All right, so once you're logged in, we're halfway there. We just want to click on continue. This is where you get to choose your own Google Voice number. Now, one, you can skip this and you can have Google Voice just assign you some number at random. Or two, you can try to stick to nearby cities. Now, it is very hard to get a Google number with an area code that you were in. So if you're somebody living in Atlanta, chances are you won't get an Atlanta zip code. I don't know why they do this, to be honest, but they do try to pick the closest zip codes to you at the moment. So, you can pick a city that they suggest, and then you have your choice of numbers. Now, it's a little limiting. I don't really waste my time thinking about these numbers too much because it's not something that I use for my friends, family, or day-to-day personal life. But do try to use a number that you are going to remember, or maybe it just, you like it, whatever. So I'm going to select this number. I'm going to claim it because I like it. So if you're happy with it, you just click verify. Here's where you have the opportunity to link your Google Voice with your mobile number. And the reason you want to do that, because if somebody has to call your Google Voice number, it actually needs somewhere to ring. So you want to link it to your actual mobile number, and that way when everyone calls that new 802 number you selected, your actual mobile will ring. And you'll know you did the process right if you see this little note that says, "Congratulations, you've successfully linked your mobile accounts." All you have to do now is click finish. So now that you've set up your phone numbers, you can click finish, and I want to jump into Google Voice with you and just show you how powerful this thing can be. On the left-hand side, you'll see your menu. This is where we can do things like look at our calls, our voicemails, messages, and add money to your account. First, let's start with calls. There are several different ways for you to make phone calls to somebody. You can either click on this make a call and simply type in the number here. You can do it through Google Hangouts. So if you have Hangouts up on your Gmail account, you can actually type in a phone number and call through that. Or if you download the Google Voice app for your phone, you can make the call from your physical telephone. Next is your messages. So if somebody texts your Google Voice number, which does happen from time to time, this is where their message will show up. You can text back from your number as well. It acts just like a regular text message app. And voicemails. I actually really like the voicemail feature because it's visual voicemail, meaning if you click on it, Google will transcribe the message for you. So you can either play it to physically listen to the message, or you can quickly read what the content is and then decide if that's something that you have to answer right away or not. Now you might notice these little 3 dots on the left-hand side on the very bottom. This is where we can get real detailed. So just like with a normal messaging app, you can archive messages that you don't want to see. You can delete anything. They have a spam filter, which I think is actually really handy. So I find that I get spam calls just like I do on my regular number. Not as often, because I don't use this number as often, but occasionally I'll get a message like, hey, your federal student loan has been approved. I don't have one, dude. It's a spam call. But I find that their spam filter is actually really handy. And credit, now this is something we do need to talk about. To use Google Voice within the United States, meaning you can call a US number can call you, you can text and you can get texts, it's completely free. So even if you physically are traveling, let's say you're a VA who's working on vacation, or you're a digital nomad or whatever, and you as a VA are working from Paris for the month, you can call, both receive and send calls for free as long as they're to and from US numbers. Now, where Google Voice really shines, I think, is that their international plans are heavily discounted. So from time to time, I'm forced to make calls to international numbers on behalf of my clients. In fact, just the other day, a client of mine wanted to have lunch in Athens, Greece. They didn't have an online presence, so I had to call them. Now, normally, if I made this call from my mobile plan, it would have cost me like $5. That's like $1 a minute. Unfortunately, because those add up so quickly, Google Voice has really steep discounts. So by calling through Google Voice, I was actually able to make the call for something like 0.02 cents a minute. So you might want to add some credit to your account so that you too can make those international calls. And again, that really is a 0.02 cents a minute. In fact, I put $10 on my account several years ago. And even though I make frequent phone calls, I'm still paying that credit off. I'm still using that original credit. So it's worth the investment. And I think you'll find that a little bit of money goes a long way. But this is where you'll physically add the credit that you want to. So this is where you will connect a credit card. And you have the option to auto recharge your balance, meaning if you put $10 in your account initially, if you make a number of international calls so that your account eventually goes down to $2, what you can do is determine if you want to add another $10 automatically, $25, or even $50. So that's something that you can do. Of course, you don't have to. I actually keep my auto charge off. So anytime I'm low on my account, Google Voice will send me an email to the email that I've connected with this, and they'll say, hey, you've got about $2, $3 left in your account. Do you want to think about putting more money on? And then you can determine moving forward if it's worth it or not for you. There are a few other things that you can do from this account page. You can link to your mobile phone. If you've missed a call, you can actually send those call alerts to your email. So I recommend that you take a little bit of time. Oh, you can actually set up a voicemail. So I actually just keep mine for the default greeting, which is something like, hey, you've reached number 802, blah, blah, blah. They're not available. Please leave your message. But you can also record a more personalized greeting. So if you run a VA company, you can leave a message like, hi, you've reached so-and-so at my virtual assistant agency. Please leave your name and number and I'll get back to you. So there's a lot you can do on this page, all under the settings account, and I recommend that you take a moment to do this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, check out our full course on Udemy, the must-have tools for virtual assistants. The full course comes with over 2.5 hours full of tutorials that are on demand. Be sure to check it out up on Udemy, search for must-have tools for virtual assistants, or go ahead and look up our account under F the Office.